Alrighty everyone, welcome back. It is now December 3rd of 2023, and there's been a lot of things going on with Disney, Bob Iger, the Disney Plus business model, and everything related to the Doctor Who situation, the David Tennant special, also known as the 60th anniversary, which by the way is divided up into three major pieces. We know that there's a lot of drama surrounding this edition of the Doctor Who series, specifically in this event, that a lot of people are beginning to wonder about the future of this franchise, or this series, whatever have you, on Disney Plus, as Disney made that deal with the BBC to give it and provide it a global audience, so to speak. This is Mike Zero. Subscribe if you're new and like this video to see future updates. I'm also on Twitter at Mike01. I thank you also very much for the great and kind support. So, as you all know, the Disney Plus deal for Doctor Who is going to be a disaster. Now, we know that Disney held some form of influence over the BBC, which, by the way, I must be very clear about that, is that they are pretty much just as bad as Disney is when it comes to ESG and DEI getting inserted into many of these shows and many of these editions, such as Doctor Who right now with the 60th anniversary. Now, the thing about all of this is that a lot of fans were absolutely fed up with parts of this event where you had the whole binary thing and you had a lot of the female-driven characters talking down to David Tennant's character, of course, the Doctor, the 14th Doctor in this case. Now, there's a lot of things going on from Bob Iger and his stance with the ongoing drama surrounding Doctor Who. Let's get into this. Now, with Bob Iger making the worst decisions for 2023, one major development has to do with Disney Plus and the backlash surrounding the David Tennant special of Doctor Who, aka the 60th anniversary three-parter event. Now, ever since the special debuted on Disney Plus with the mismanagement of David Tennant's return by the BBC and Russell T Davies, part of the Disney Plus deal moving onwards for Doctor Who would be to strictly and double down on DEI and ESG through Disney's ways and choices moving onwards as the only form of creative involvement. Given that BBC, like I said before, is just as bad as Disney, it's only going to get worse from here moving onwards because of Bob Iger's influence. However, recently Bob Iger responded to the ongoing backlash of Doctor Who by delivering the following. One of our most successful business models this year is Disney Plus, with our insertion of the popular hit series Doctor Who. As we look forward to partnering with the BBC for future installments of Doctor Who, it has come to our realization that many are claiming there is a divide in the Doctor Who community based on the BBC's direction with the 60th anniversary and its debut on Disney Plus. Let me make this clear to all that we do not engage in any culture wars, nor do we hold any plans of using Doctor Who as a source of pushing a certain message. We value art over ideology, and we believe that it is important to quiet down the noise for our Disney Plus business model. Those attempting to convince others that our Doctor Who 60th anniversary presentation with the BBC was embracing some kind of agenda are completely misguided, and we ask everyone to let the product speak for itself. The majority have enjoyed our introduction of the special and for David Tennant's return. We see no majority of the Doctor Who community holding any kind of an issue, and as far as we can see at things here at Disney, based on recent research, is that it is once again nothing more than a loud minority of fans trying to convince others to think the same way of specific patterns of this special that the BBC put together effectively, that we believe properly respects everyone equally in our three-part event. Now, guys, before I move on, this is a typical Bob Iger CEO response. I mean, he's very repetitive. He loves to say art over ideology, like to the upteenth time at this point. But the thing about Iger and how this Disney Plus deal went down, let's be very clear about that too, as he would like to say. He's always very clear to his audience, right? He's always very clear to, the shareholders, and that's what he likes to make himself come across as. When in reality, he's just really stringing along the shareholders and those that are actually going to the theaters or going on Disney Plus to watch shows like Doctor Who in this case. Now, the thing here of what's really going on is that in this Disney Plus deal, Disney doesn't necessarily own the Doctor Who series. Let's just be very direct with you guys about that. They don't own it like how they own The Simpsons or the Alien franchise now, or many other franchises or properties out there. But the BBC does still own it. Alright, that is a given thing. They are still going to produce it the way that they want to produce it under one condition, and that is that ESG and DEI will be used in a specific way by Disney through the ways of BBC's hit show. Now, we know that they have already been just as bad as Disney was for a very long time, and especially in this 60th anniversary 3-part event. I mean, it's very clear that a lot of fans are very much diverting from Doctor Who because of Disney Plus and how Bob Iger has some level of influence over the show, not necessarily owning it, but they do have some level of influence on those agendas. Now, again, alright, let's move forward. He goes on to conclude, I will say things again. We here at Disney and those associated with the BBC hold no intentions, and never did, to create a divide by promoting a culture war or agenda-driven messages into our projects. Our balance of using diversity, equity, and inclusion is our effective tool to gravitate toward a wide audience and holds zero intentions of splitting a community. We look forward to properly using DEI into Doctor Who by the BBC, and as part of Disney Plus that is going to be the new home of Doctor Who for the years to come, we can guarantee this will be a success on our end by providing a global audience to such a popular series. Now, that's one thing that BBC wanted to obtain, right? They wanted to expand. They wanted to get this show to reach pretty much everyone around the world effectively, where it's easy to obtain that show. Now, that's what Disney Plus is supposedly going to provide. I'm not so quite sure now, with a lot of people leaving the platform, a lot of people getting fed up with Disney. We'll have to wait and see exactly what happens throughout 2024 and beyond. Now, we know that at the same exact time, the BBC and Disney, I will say that there are in some instances where BBC is surprisingly worse than Disney's ways of using ESG and DEI on multiple occasions. I'll talk more about that later. But there's a lot of things going on here too with Iger. Realize that they are also altering The Simpsons. There's a lot of changes coming in with that show. There's a lot of other things happening with Alien as a franchise, which I think is a little concerning for Alien Romulus of 2024. That is a new movie, by the way, debuting next year. It is a Disney film, by the way. So, yeah, there's a lot of things happening between all these different properties that Disney now owns and or made a deal with other studios or, entities that are going to be partnering up with Disney to put that on Disney Plus. So anyway, guys, drop a comment below, fill me in below in the comments what you all have to say about this. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel, and I will catch you guys later.